Looks like this will work. Alright, and that's useless. So there you go. That's all the first level of shelves. Now we gotta do the cuts for the in-betweens. I really don't want thick wood for that. That takes up a lot of space. So the thinnest I've got is 1/4 of an inch. Now, of course, as you can tell looking around, we are not a highly technical, obsessive, like watching the, what is it, Woodsmith shop or something with the 3 guys that just talk about technique a lot. Yeah, we're not that kind of place, so I'm not worried about always having a 1/4 inch thick wood on this, but the routes will work. I always put thinner wood in, just maybe slightly crooked. Alright, so let's set that up, because I gotta use that thing. Alright, so here's my plan. I cut some test ones, so I can test my cuts before I screw up the ones that I already cut, especially on the pop wood. But I have labeled my 3 combination squares that I'll be using to square up my roof fence, which with this one you really want to. So it's going to be fun messing with the roof fence, but I've kind of tried and label them A, B, and C and organize the cuts. So I test them. I'm going to cut on one end, then the other, make my next notch, cut again and see how much space I have left in the middle. Also, since this is wood from my pop-ups old Woodshop, I'm going to leave these alone right now. I can always do different stuff. Actually, you know, I could probably just cut. But these I'll cut with the table saw. I'll make cuts on the table saw. Thinner cuts, better storage. That's what I'll do with these. And it'll be easier. It'll be safer for the wood. These, I'm going to go ahead and use the router for. Because they're junk. These I'm going to use the router because they're junk top. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so I like the thickness left over by my depth of cut. First initial double side. I just realized I should probably make these double side. Looks okay. I guess just keep chugging along now. Alright, so that's as far as I go because the router brick fence won't go any farther. So that's all I can do. And there's a lot to be done on the table saw. However, we do have a very standing and severe shop rule if you take the blade guard off, someone else has to be in here. And my dad's a little busy at the moment. So that's about as far as I'm going to get with this for now. Probably should go in and answer emails and things like that. Okay, so one of the other frustrations though, and one of the things that happens with probably like a workshop like ours, and sanding, trying to keep our sanders organized, is that the backing corrupt. This is extreme, especially with our DeWalt sander. Like this, I mean, I know for a fact this is like 220, but if I was using it quickly and I had to look, I can't tell anymore. It's not on the back of here. But when you're, doing your project and you've got your space here, don't want to walk to the wall to grab it, you'll pile up what you need, stuff like that. You just gotta do it. Problem is, then it's like, which one was this? Which one was this? So, since all this is trying to remedy the problem of messy sanding sheets, I'm gonna try and make that mobile. That's my goal. So now, as I said, my phone memory may run out. If it does, I'm gonna have to finish that time, but we'll see how it goes. So first up, I gotta find wood. Well, with this part done, now I'm just gonna spread this off right here. So throw that. Always make sure your stuff's square, and then create the bottom. Alright, there we go. Not as portable as I wanted, but it is movable. I dad's ready to work on other stuff, so I gotta move on from this one for a second, but I did go ahead and pre-drill holes where I'll be putting casters on. I'm hoping those casters will be giving us stability. That's so far. This is now a finished sanding organizer at the moment. I don't have casters on there yet, and I don't know if I will or not. I'm kind of... So as you see, look, I decided to turn these into spaces for sanding sponges. So I do like using sanding sponges for sanding down polyurethane coats and fine sanding, things like that. Then I have these organized. Oh, sorry. Have it organized as these are my sanding sheets. Also Velcro backing for my hand sanding sponge. And this wire is because this basing is bigger than when I cut these. I don't have time. And this is where I use the table saw right here versus the router table. This is actually how I want my cuts to be. And you put once I post board, I can put it in here. Then I have the Mega Mouse sanding pads. So my Mega Mouse broken, and then some miscellaneous ones. And then there's my random over sandpaper. So all nice. And yeah, this is what Northern sand stuff looks like for a grid. Not bad though. Use that constantly. So, and there you go. And that's how it turned out. In the future, I may change this to lengthen this so I can add shelves because this has fallen a little bit.